Racing game has been always a bliss and also the oldest of games on mobile devices. They're actually more demanded by today, and there's always been so many to choose from and many more on the horizon. It's a little tricky to find a good one though, and if you're looking for something to play offline, it even gets more tricky. And in any case, here's a list of some of the best offline racing games you can pick up and play for free in 2023 for your Android and iOS devices as well. Let's go. Alright guys, at number 1 for over 2 GB of storage, at this very moment right here, if you haven't already, you can get for free just about the most fine-tuned and sensitive racing sim on the Play Store that's been out there for almost 7 years already, and just simply skip the rest of the list because we're not getting any better than this. However, there's a catch. In order to play Ocelot Racing over here, you need an initial internet connection to just get into the game, then you can play the rest of the game offline. One more thing, this game takes you down about 2 GB of storage. At number 2, been out there officially for about 4 days only, although it's been in its pre-registered state for half a year now. We've got here, for those of you who missed it, finally Heat Gear, Race and Drift World. I kid you not guys, this is legitimately the peak in quality comparing to any other racing game out there that's inspired by the entire Need for Speed franchise, and somehow actually managing to take them all up a notch as well. This game's free, playable offline if you like, and takes you down about 100 megabytes initially. Actually awarded the #1 highway racing game on the Play Store back when it came out. At number 3, just a quick reminder for those of you who missed it, we have CarX Highway, not the recently released CarX Drift, but literally one of the top 3 offline precision-based realistic racing sims out there in every single racing list out there right now for mobile gaming. Hell, some critics even cited this game as the best racing game ever created. This game is about 700 megabytes in size, and it's totally free. At number 4, we've got over here once again Drift Ride Traffic Racing, to this day regarded as the most cinematic and atmospheric, mostly night drive racing game, and heavily inspired by the Need for Speed games as a mobile exclusive. Drift Ride has actually been out there for 5 years, it's fine-tuned to perfection. Never ever heard of a bug with this one, and it's already downloaded over 5 million times with a 4.6 out of 5 on the Play Store. Game's free, playable offline, and also awarded at the number 8 best racing mobile game of all time. Sitting on the Google Play and the App Store for free since June last year, with over 10 million downloads already. In case you missed it, we've got a truck driving open world sim, a sequel to a great start from a few years ago, a game called, as you can see, Truckers of Europe 3. My opinion, frankly, an outstandingly beautiful and well-designed game. Honestly, the best truck simulator game out there right now. It's got insane graphics, so much content for free, playable offline, and also with a controller. With over 100,000 downloads since a few months ago on the Play Store only, we have at number 6 another free-to-play, mostly drift racing game going by the name RaceMax Pro Car Racing. I have to say, graphically on a whole other level, considering it's a mobile exclusive, and honestly, in actual gameplay, it's really fine-tuned, almost console quality. Game works great with controllers, tons of content and different mods to choose from, and a lot of vehicles. Coming from the same developers of the one and only Drive Club, also an offline game I haven't mentioned in this list, at number 7 from roughly half a year ago we have Chorus Parking Sim games. I like to think the beginning of a new series of parking sims that actually manages to pull it off, and all that's actually a win point in an offline racing game. Games playable online and of course offline, over 100 off-road SUV supercars and different types of vehicles to just choose from. Great graphics and bug-free. Coming up at number 9 with over 100 million downloads since precisely 10 years ago, today is actually this game's 10th year anniversary on the Play Store. We've got, for those of you who still haven't played this gem, something called Real Racing 3. This is actually an award-winning game in grossing at number 7, technically ranked at the number 7 most earning mobile game on the Google Play as an offline game, probably the most realistic game in nature compared to the rest of the list. This game is free, playable both online and offline, and it takes you down about 2.5 gigabytes of storage. Sitting on the Play Store with a 3.9 out of 5. Over 100,000 downloads since only a month ago, we have Street Drag 2. A bit of a tricky game to recommend for one reason only: the experience y'all will have may vary on different mobile devices. Now, the good thing about this game is it's perhaps the most realistic game out there that came out for the past couple of months, considering Car X Drift. It's not an open world game though, but super detailed, and it's actually playable offline. One problem though, it takes you down about 1 gigabyte of space. Coming up behind that, I've actually mentioned this one quite a lot of times, a game called Race Rocket Arena. Not a new game by any means, but definitely one that stands out from the rest of the playable offline racing bunch out there. So guys, Race Rocket Arena has downloaded over 10 million times since last year, and I still think it's actually one of the lesser known and underrated games on the Play Store, considering the replay value. Hell, it's an arcade action racer, and it even has a story. Game is free, playable also with friends, and takes you down about 150 megabytes of storage. Quick mention over here, just a little bit of a shift. If you like your driving games, not necessarily racing games, action-oriented, more like a Grand Theft Auto game, but mostly focused on driving. Los Angeles Crimes has been out there for almost 5 years, and it's still one of the top 5 Grand Theft Auto style games out there on the entire platform. Surprisingly, for an open world game, it's actually playable offline, and it's a definite recommendation for any gaming enthusiast, not just racing games, so keep it in mind. At number 12, we have here something called Reckless Gateway 2. I would guarantee you the most fun top-down racing and action game out there on the Google Play right now. It's a great mix of old Grand Theft Auto games, the old ones, the top-down ones, and some silly fantasy but physics-based driving and action game elements. I wouldn't change a thing about this game. Hell, it's playable with or without an internet connection. With ads, of course, it's a little more fun because it's more rewarding, but an incredibly rewarding game all the way offline. It's free and takes you down about only 100 megabytes of storage. Take a good look. Awarded by the Google Play itself as the number 4 best free-to-play racing game of all time, we've got at number 13, downloaded over 100 million times. That's more than most of the games in the list, and I'm pretty sure you've heard or saw a glimpse of this one before, a game called Race Master 3D. This game's the definition of an addiction. In pace, it's challenging, got all the stunt and racing game elements, and even playable offline. At number 14, from a tad over 2 years ago, we have Racing Xperience. Sitting on the Play Store with a 4.6 out of 5, and about as far as you can imagine of a mobile game to Forza Horizon, if we're talking pace and formula. It's got great cars, customization option, fully adjustable cars. The physics are very good in this game, and it even supports controllers. If you want a racing game like Forza to just free roam and race, this is definitely a good recommendation. Zombie Off-Road Safari, on the other hand, specifically if you did, I would say, enjoy the number 12 game in the list, Reckless Gateway 2, the top-down racing game, is pretty much just the same style of racing and action, but this game's got a zombie apocalyptic premise, and it's so freaking good. You'll probably leave Reckless Gateway 2 just as soon as you start playing this one. If you have formerly ever enjoyed a vigilance game back about 20 years ago, this game's definitely inspired by that, and it's free in nature and playable offline. Hellraiders 3, on the other hand, is legitimately the most fun to play low-poly bike racing action game you can pick up for free and also play it offline if you like. This series, in case you're wondering, started live on the Play Store all the way back in 2015, and all along the way it just has been fine-tuned to a now console quality mobile game. It's got a 4.6 out of 5 and over 1 million downloads on both platforms. It's got different maps, mods, and a lot of characters and vehicles to choose from. At 17, not necessarily a racing game, for just a bit of a shift in our little list over here. We've got a driving, border patrol sim here, coming from one of the oldest mobile game developers on the Play Store, and simply their most famous game to this day as well. Taking it down about 100 megabytes, initially unplayable all the way offline, a game called Border Patrol Police Game. That's it, this game's free, and what I personally like about this game is honestly just the graphics. Moving on. Coming up at 18, as we try to go about our day, last but not least, we have something called Hover League. One of the more recent offline hoverboard racing offline and online games, sitting on the Play Store with only 500 downloads only, and taking you out about 60 megabytes in storage. It's a free game. You need an internet connection initially for this game to just sign in, and the rest is offline and with no ads. That's it. It's got a nice variety of vehicles, maps, and characters to choose from. That's all.